What's up guys, thank you so much for coming by the video. I really do appreciate it. Today we're going to be checking out the We're going to be taking a look at the Maschine Mikro Mk3, this tiny little budget controller. We're going to be giving it a review. So I've used this controller for about a week so far. I can tell you some pros, I can tell you some cons, and I can tell you my overall feelings about this controller. So we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to start with the pros. The first thing I love about this Maschine Mikro Mk3 is the build. The build on this thing is so nice. It feels so high quality. $250 is kind of a lot to spend when you're on a budget. You get a really well built product. This thing is so nice. Starting off with the buttons. Buttons are ridiculously clicky. Take a listen. They're ridiculously clicky. If you're going to be keeping this controller for a few years, these buttons really do feel like they are going to last to the test of time. You're going to be pressing them a lot. You're going to be pressing each one of them a lot. The outside of it is really nice. This matte plastic finish is really nice to look at. It's small, but it's dense. It fits on your desk really well. It really doesn't take up that much room. With my desk setup, I don't know if you can. I have a mini keyboard here. I have my trackpad. I have my keyboard. I have my mouse. And this controller just sits right over here on the edge of my desk. Doesn't take up a whole lot of room, and it just blends in. It's there when I need it, it's out of the way when I don't, and I love that. So the buttons are fantastic. The pads are also really great. They're made out of a very, very nice rubber. It feels durable. I've been drumming on these constantly for a week. Haven't shown any signs of weakening or anything. They just feel really durable. At the $250 price point, as far as music gear goes, it's not the most you could spend, but I'm honestly surprised at how well this is built for $250. I really thought they would cheap out on something, be it the buttons, the screen, the dial, the chassis of it, something. But they really haven't done that, and I commend them for that, because that's amazing. It makes me confident in buying Maschine products and buying more of their products in the future, because I know how well built their stuff is, and I'm not afraid to buy it because I know it's going to last. Just from a week of using it, I can already tell it's going to last a long time. There's no creaks, there's no cracks, there's no anything. The outside body is made of plastic, but like I said, it's a very nice looking plastic, and it's very dense in the best of ways. Moving on to the next pro is this tiny little screen right here. I'll show you right there. This tiny little screen right there. Maschine has really tried to define the lines of where their products are and who they are exactly for. With this one, they've really simplified the workings of it from the previous generation, from what I've seen. The screen is smaller, yes, but they've done that because this controller is so tied to the software. You don't really need that big of a screen. You've got a little screen there, and you're still able to see things. It would be different if you didn't have a screen whatsoever. That would be terrible, and I would really complain about that, but you do have a screen. It's big enough for settings, changing velocity, seeing what menu you're on. It is useful. It's small, but it is really useful, surprisingly, for its size. Moving on from this screen, this knob is fantastic. It's really solid, really well built. Click on it is fantastic. The notches when you're spinning it are great. It's just a good knob. Such a weird thing to say. Following the knob, the touch strip right below it. It's really nice. It's really useful. You can play effects with it. You can play chords with it. You can do a lot with this touch strip. It's the same kind of touch strip from its bigger brother. So far in this video, I'm just loving this product. We're going to get to some cons in a little bit, but we're not quite there yet, so stick around. The next pro that I love is it's so useful with Logic's plugin that they've made for it. It's so useful. It runs quick. You can record things straight into that plugin and then drag it right onto your project and use it straight from there. It really falls into its own category of being able to sit there on the desk for when you need it. It's out of the way when you don't need it, and when you feel like, okay, I need this drum kit, I need this effect, I need this lead that's not in Logic, you just reach right over to it, start playing it, and it's there right in the software. When you're done, you click it, drag it in, and then you're good to go. I love that about it. The plugin integration is fantastic. Sticking on the software side, the next and final pro that I was able to come up with, this controller comes with so much free software. And I've seen on other videos that it is around like a $300 value. What I was looking for when I was buying a controller was something that not only offered me a great piece of hardware, but also improved my software as well, because right now all I've been doing with my music, I've never bought a single plugin. I've just used everything that came stock, which is fine. You can make really great music with just stock plugins, as I've done. I hate to brag, but it's pretty good. You can use stock plugins for as long as you want. I'm a firm believer that you can do that, but it's so nice to have new software, not because of how much better it is or how much better I am for just using the software, but it gives you so many more options. That's what this really gives you, is so many options. The pads give you options. The buttons, they give you options. The effects, they give you options. That's what this controller is. A huge amount of options when you're ready to move up from the beginner, intermediate level to really taking it more seriously. you want some more effects, you want some more options, you want more of everything, I think this is a great product. With that being said, I'm gonna stop ego stroking the Maschine Mikro for a second. We're gonna talk about the few cons that I do have with this product. As much as I would love Maschine to send me the Mark III, I'm very independent. I bought this with my own money. There's still a few cons that I have to bring up, unfortunately. The first con, and I feel like I'm gonna preface this with saying some of these are petty and stupid, but they're cons to me, so I feel like they're worth saying. This black that the product is made out of, why do I keep saying the product? The black that the Maschine is made out of is really nice. I really like the matte finish, but it attracts dust like crazy. There's so much dust in hair. I have a cat, as I'm sure a lot of people do. He leaves a lot of hair around. He does not even get up on my desk because I don't want him to get up there. But somehow his hair gets all over this. There's dust over it all the time. I'll show you this picture that I literally just took before filming this video. Even though I used this controller last night, the next day, it's completely covered in dust. Just a little gripe, but again, it's something that kind of bothers me, so I figured I'd mention it. I love having this on my desk because it looks so freaking nice and it looks so cool, but that aesthetic is a little messed up by the sheer amount of dust and debris that's all over it. Even though I keep my desk really, really clean and tidy, I can't help just the particles in the air. Next con, the pads. The texture is weird to me, and this is just a personal gripe. Again, probably something stupid. Figured I'd mention it. The texture is weird. It kind of feels like doctor's gloves, like the white rubber examination gloves with the powder on the outside. That's kind of how it feels. I think that's just a standard material for pads in the music industry. I think that's just how they have all felt, or at least all the ones that I've used. So I doubt that any company is going to change that anytime soon, but sometimes if it's really cold in the room and I go to play this, it almost feels wet. It's just because of the material that's used, but it still is weird. It honestly kind of grosses me out a little just because I'm weird like that, but it does. Next. As I said before, the knob is fantastic on this controller. It doesn't have the bump control. I don't know how you would push it this way or push it this way and it would act as a directional knob as well. Instead, you have these arrow buttons right here that you can use for directional stuff, which is useful, but I would love to be able to have it all in one knob. So when I'm going through the menus, I can like bump left, bump right, select, and turn, select, you know, instead of having to use two hands to do this, I could use one hand and do everything just on one knob. That'd be nice. Again, not a huge gripe, but just something I figured I'd mention. The next thing is, unlike its bigger brother, there's no audio interface on the back, which when you're saving more than half of the money that you would spend on the bigger brother, I do not expect there to be a full audio interface on the back. I don't. I hate when people complain about like, oh, I'm paying half the price and I don't get all the same things. What's that about? Well, you're paying half the price. I don't expect there to be a full audio interface, and especially not to the extent that the other its bigger brother has, but I kind of expected there to be something. This is the entry level to the Maschine Mark III, so I feel like if it had a line in and a line out, that would be nice for the beginners in the ecosystem. Then they'd be able to step up to more ports and interface than just having one line in and one out. So it would still be an upgrade, but the people on the intro would still get a good interface capability. Now I have my own interface, the Scarlett 2i2 back here. I don't know if you can see it, and that's great for me. I've actually never run into a problem where I needed an interface on the back of the Maschine Mikro Mark III. I don't really know why this is a con. Sticking at the back, I don't know how many times I've picked up and put this controller down. On the back, you can see there's like a Kensington lock, whatever the hell that is, and then the USB port they use to plug it in. Now I'm fine with USB, but what would be nice is, as well as the USB cable that you need, it'd be nice if it also came with this type of USB to USB-C. On the back of my iMac, there are a couple USB Type-C ports. So it'd be nice to be able to plug this end into the controller and then plug the other end into the USB-C port, which would then free up one of the 4 USB ports I have on the back of the iMac, just in case. Again, I have to say, I haven't run into an issue where I've run out of USB ports. I'm just saying it would be nice if that cable was included in the box. I'm sure I could find one. Just figured it would be nice to have, and figured I should say it. I used to talking this much. I need some water. So what happens when you don't make videos in a while? You get out of practice with talking so much. The last and final con I have with the Maschine Mikro Mark III is software based, and it's honestly my biggest gripe. The software is such a pain in the butt. I'm not talking about the plugins that comes in. I'm talking about the Maschine 2 software, the DAW of Maschine land. It's fine. It does a lot of things well, but at the same time, the arrangement view is horrible. I hate it. It's just not made for creating a beat or a song start to finish. I think it's a great supplemental tool for the middle process, and then taking that and putting it into your DAW of choice in order to make it work fully for you, because the Maschine 2 software is clunky, it runs laggily. Like, I have one of the most powerful iMacs below the iMac Pro that you can get. The Maschine 2 software runs like crap on it. It's so laggy and ridiculous, but the plugin that is used in Logic runs really well and smooth. I don't really get where that would happen or why. That's a thing. Final thoughts about the Maschine Mikro Mk3. Even if you have the regular Maschine Mk3, I think this could be an awesome travel companion for your mobile setup. You take your laptop, you take your little MIDI keyboard, you take this along with you, you've got a full mobile studio in your backpack, which is great, and you don't have to take your expensive Mark III around. You can take the slightly more replaceable cost of $250 around without worrying about damaging your screens or knocking off a knob or whatever. There are cons with this machine, but they're few and far between, and I really honestly did have to think in order to come up with some cons. Overall, out of 10, I'd probably give this controller an 8. It would honest to God be a 10 if the software was a little better. There's so few things to complain about with this controller. For the price, you get so much. I cannot say that enough. This is honestly the best $250 I've spent in a very long time. Going to be a Maschine customer for a very long time. With that being said, I really hope you did enjoy this video. I'm going to maybe make a couple beats with this today, make another video about the Logic workflow, and hopefully get this video turned around and up for you guys very soon. My Instagram is linked down below, as well as my website, where you can check out some beats that I have posted up there and maybe even purchase them for your own projects. So with that, thank you guys so much again. I'll see you next time. Peace.